So, mount is, in my opinion, an underrated, or has become an underrated position, and it's been used less in the last, I don't know, 10 years or something like that, because of open guards and leg locks and whatnot. And be able to attack from mount, you need to be able to control from mount. And one of the first things that I was taught, which I was taught this as a blue belt, is like very, very simple. If I'm in mount and I'm just sitting loosely with my good posture, I allow for my opponent to start elbow escaping. If I don't apply any pressure with my knees at all, I'm gonna allow for his escape to happen much easier. So the first thing I do when I'm in mount is I apply not a lot of pressure. I'm not gonna squeeze the life out of him. I'm just gonna make sure that he knows I'm here. Yeah.
It's a lot more uncomfortable.
Yeah, it is. And I'm applying very little pressure. I might sometimes attack different mount attacks from up here, but to be honest, one of my favorite attacks from mount is the good old cross collar choke. And I'm not going to set it up from up here. I'm not going to be here and expect my opponent to allow me to, So for control purposes and to set up submissions, I like to be very low. So once I enter mount, let's say I'm in side control. In side control, I'm very low. And once I start setting up my transition to mount, I stay low, and I'm here. I'm not gonna go here. No. To me, it doesn't make sense, because I give away all of my control. So I already have control of his arm, and I have control of his head. If I can control his head, I can control the way the direction that he's looking in, and also that also dictates his escape direction. So right now, Tristan can only escape to this side. Yeah, because he cannot look to his right. And this allows me to start setting up my attacks, so I can get my initial grip. I can start walking over. I can do the shaver with my elbow. And at all times, I'm keeping my head low, preferably my forehead on the mat. And I grip under the shoulder. I can also just do it like with a Noki grip here, and I start circling. Yep. So that's my setup for the regular cross collar choke. And again, very important that you keep control of his head. So what happens if I get here and he starts escaping? Because it's a little bit more difficult to like keep very tight with the knees when I'm down low. So sometimes he can actually get his elbow in, and he can start elbow escaping. So how do I prevent this? So again, it's all about direction. When he's looking this way, he can escape. He can do the elbow escape. But if I'm low and I change his direction and I do this with my right arm, I scoop, elbow escape. That's not gonna happen. No. And I'm gonna use my other hand, circle across. I'm gonna make him look in the other direction. Now he's got the only option left, and that's to try to escape on the other side. Yeah. So again, I have the control, but I'm not tight enough, and he gets his elbow in. I change his direction here. My left arm comes over the top, and again I use my chest to change his direction.
And you're not worried about this being in because you've got the...
Yeah. If I'm here and I am changing the direction he's looking in, he's not going to be able to use this for anything. So I'm just going to go under the elbow, pull up.
Yeah, and then you've got a good mount.
Yes. Second option. He might be blocking me a little bit here. I can just use my left arm as well as a quick option, and just do the shaver again. Yeah. And he's gonna instantly regret that he put his elbow in.
Yeah, I'm gonna, like, as soon as you do that, I want to use this hand to address that.
Yes. So, head control prevents the elbow escape to a certain degree. Yeah. There are no rules without exceptions.
No, of course.
So what happens if I have an opponent that just bucks Yeah.
The judo.
Yeah. You get the judo guy, and he just goes completely ape shit. And sometimes it works, and you actually, I'm like 62 kilos. I get thrown off with the bigger guys. So I have two answers to that. The first one is if I'm down low and he gets his arms in and he pushes me up, I'm gonna punch my head towards the ceiling, and I'm gonna sit very heavily with very good posture, very straight posture on his hip. So he punches up, and I'm just gonna sit on his hip. So from this position, if he bucks, this is the rodeo bull concept.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna keep my back straight, and I'm gonna follow his movement. So he bucks, I'm just gonna try to keep my head pointing towards the ceiling. If he bucks this way, same deal. Yeah. Again, slight squeeze. It makes it more uncomfortable when he bridges. So that's one option. And this is just for like riding the storm out. Because like he exerts way more energy than he needs to. Another thing is that when he starts to buck, if he does the bridging thing in a particular direction, this invites me to transition to modified mount. Because pushing the elbow, sliding up the knee, allows me to go directly into modified mount. So this is going to be a position that I'm constantly looking for. I like to keep a hand behind the elbow if possible. I'm not going to grab, I'm just going to keep it here. And when he starts bucking,
Oh, nice.
yeah, I'm just going to be ready to go. And if I can, I'd like to get the gift grab as well. So one more time. I'm just gonna keep my elbow behind, or my hand behind his elbow. I might be fighting this one, and he decides to go, whoop, and I'm gonna go knee behind the head, and my right foot is close to his hip. If there's just a tiny bit of space, he's gonna turn his back. He's gonna turn his back towards the mat again.
Like this.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm back. And he's got all this space, so you might start elbow escaping.
Yeah, that was what I was thinking, that if I could get my...
Superhooks.
Superhooks.
I
like anything.
So a very annoying thing is that I go to mount, and I have my arm under his head, which is a very common position for like doing the cross face, but he might start doing the trap and roll, which is a very effective escape or like reversal from mount. So how to prevent that? Because this happens all the time. It can happen from here. I could be on my way to choking, and he just needs to control this arm, and he can do the exact same thing. He traps my foot, and I tip this way. So no matter if you're under the head or over the head or have a regular collar grip, if he controls 2 points on this arm, elbow and wrist, he can trap and roll me. On this arm, wrist, elbow, and he blocks my foot. And once I feel this, I can feel him trapping my foot, and I can see that he's got my arm trapped. So what I'm going to do, once I start feeling the bridge from here, I'm going to put my hand out, and I'm going to shoot my leg through, and I'm going to punch the bottom of my foot towards the ceiling. And I'm going to connect my hip to his hip. And I might even stay here for a second just to... just to let him know I'm here. Doesn't matter if I'm here or on top. I'm gonna base my weight to this side, because like if I do this and he trap and rolls me, he can still trap and roll me because he's bridging. But what he doesn't know yet is that I'm gonna take away his ability to bridge. So once I start him lifting his hip, I punch it through.
Yeah, it kills it.
Yeah. And he might do this once or twice.
No, I don't really want to do that.
No. That's it?
Yeah, excellent, thank you.
No worries.